What do a sore throat, pneumonia, and syphilis have in common? They were once untreatable until a lab mistake changed medical history. Hello, everyone. Today we are going to learn about that life saving drug, penicillin. Penicillins are antibiotics discovered by Alexander Fleming in 1928. During his experiment, he saw a green color mold growing on a culture plate, and this mold released a substance that killed the surrounding bacteria, and the mold belonged to the genus Penicillium. So Alexander Fleming named that antibacterial substance penicillin, and all the medicine made from this substance are called penicillins. Penicillins belong to the beta-lactam group of antibiotics. Why beta-lactam? Because they contain a beta-lactam ring in their chemical structure. And this ring is responsible for their antibacterial activity. Now let's understand the mechanism of action, means how do penicillins work? So to grow and survive, bacteria need a strong cell wall. And for making this cell wall, bacteria use an enzyme called DD transpeptidase, also known as penicillin binding protein or PBP. Penicillins have beta-lactam ring, and this ring allows penicillin to bind tightly to this enzyme. And once penicillin binds, the enzyme stops working. So the bacteria cannot build or repair their cell wall. As a result, the cell wall becomes weak, the bacteria burst, and they die. Because penicillins actually kill the bacteria, they are called bactericidal antibiotics. So, in this way, penicillins kill bacteria by using their beta lactam ring. But what if the bacteria fight back? Yes, some bacteria produce an extra enzyme called penicillinase or beta lactamase. And this enzyme breaks the beta lactam ring of penicillin. And once the ring is destroyed, penicillin cannot work. This is called resistance. So, some bacteria have now become resistant to penicillin. For example, Staphylococcus aureus produces penicillinase, and because of this enzyme, many normal penicillins do not work against it. Now, let's talk about the classification of penicillins. Penicillins are classified into four main groups. Number one, basic penicillins. Number two, broad spectrum penicillins, also called aminopenicillins. Number three, penicillinase resistant penicillins, also called antistaphylococcal penicillins. And number four, extended spectrum penicillins, also called anti-pseudomonal penicillins. Each group has a different range of action and is used for different types of infections. Now let's talk about basic penicillins. Basic penicillins include penicillin V, which is given orally, penicillin G, which is given intramuscularly or intravenously. There is also a long acting form called penicillin G benzathine, and this one is given only intramuscularly. These basic penicillins are very effective against common gram-positive bacteria. So they are used to treat upper respiratory tract infections, otitis media, pneumonia, rheumatic fever, skin and soft tissue infections, and STI like syphilis. However, they do not work well against most gram-negative bacteria. On the other hand, broad spectrum penicillins include amoxicillin, which is given orally, ampicillin, which can be given orally, intramuscularly, or intravenously. These antibiotics are effective against a wide variety of gram negative bacteria. So, they are useful for treating respiratory infection, gastrointestinal infections, genital infections, urinary tract infections, skin infections. And this ampicillin, it is also used for more serious infections that need IV treatment, such as meningitis, endocarditis, septicemia. Next, penicillin resistant penicillin or antistaphylococcal. This group includes dicloxolin, which is given orally, nafcillin, and oxacillin, which are given intramuscularly or intravenously. These antibiotics were specially designed to fight bacteria like Staphylococcus aureus, which often produce the beta-lactamase enzyme. Because of this enzyme, many normal basic penicillins do not work against Staph aureus, but these antistaphylococcal penicillins can still kill these bacteria. Now, finally, there is piperacillin, an extended spectrum penicillin. It is combined with tazobactam, which is a beta lactamase inhibitor, and this combination is given intravenously. Piperacillin and tazobactam provides a wider coverage, especially against many gram-negative bacteria, and most importantly, it is effective against Pseudomonas aeruginosa. And because of this, piperacillin is also known as an anti-pseudomonal penicillin. Now, this is all about the classification of penicillins. Now, let's talk about their side effects. Penicillins are generally safe and well tolerated, but like all medicines, they can cause some side effects. So, the most common side effects are gastrointestinal problems such as nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and allergy to penicillin is also very common. Patients may develop urticaria, pruritus, and in severe cases, anaphylaxis. And some serious allergic reaction include hypersensitivity reaction, Stevens-Johnson syndrome, and erythema multiforme. At high doses, some patients may even experience seizures. Now, in addition to this, penicillin can also disrupt the normal bacterial flora of the body. Because of this, patient may develop superinfections such as vaginal candidiasis, oral thrush, and rarely CTI. A common side effect of Penicillin G is pain at the injection site. And if accidentally injected into an artery or near a major nerve, it can cause severe nerve and blood vessel damage and even tissue necrosis. Amoxicillin can cause eosinophilia, anemia, thrombocytopenia, and some penicillins may also lead to interstitial nephritis and renal tubular damage. Now, let's talk about contraindications. There are not many, but the most important one is hypersensitivity to penicillin. If a patient is allergic to penicillin, we should never give it. Second, penicillin should also be used carefully in patients who are allergic to other beta-lactam antibiotics like cephalosporin, carbapenemase, because there can be cross-reactivity. So, we must also use penicillins with caution during pregnancy, breastfeeding, and kidney diseases. And one special point, penicillin G benzathine must never be given intravenously. It has a boxed warning against IV use because it can cause severe complications. Now, coming to drug interactions, the effect of penicillin is increased by probenecid and decreased by tetracycline. Penicillins also increase the effect of warfarin and they can reduce the effectiveness of oral contraceptives. Broad spectrum penicillins like ampicillin and amoxicillin should not be combined with allopurinol because the risk of skin rash increases. Penicillin resistant penicillins reduce the effectiveness of live virus vaccines, so they should not be given together. Now, the most important point, if you ever give penicillin to any patient, there are some safety steps you must always follow. And these are non negotiable and must be done every single time. Number one, always check for allergy first. Before giving penicillin, always ask the patient about any history of penicillin allergy. Penicillin allergy can be severe and life threatening. So, if the patient has a known allergy, do not give the drug. Second, keep emergency equipment ready because penicillin can cause anaphylaxis. Always keep oxygen, adrenaline, and emergency equipment ready. Third, do a baseline assessment. Check the patient's vital sign, kidney function, and complete medical history before starting therapy. Fourth, monitor the patient closely during the first dose. The first 30 minutes after administration are critical. Watch for rash, itching, swelling, difficulty breathing, and drop in blood pressure. Fifth, watch for IV site reaction. If given IV, monitor the IV site for redness, swelling, pain, or leakage. Rotate the IV site to prevent tissue damage. Sixth, monitor for superinfection. During long courses, check for symptoms like diarrhea, abdominal pain, or oral vaginal fungal infections. Seventh, check kidney function. Penicillin is cleared by the kidney, so monitor urine output, serum creatinine, and look for sign of kidney stress. Last, educate the patient. Always tell the patient about the duration of therapy, common side effects, and what symptom they must report immediately, such as breathing difficulty or severe diarrhea. So, the most important thing you must remember as healthcare professionals is that penicillin is very effective and generally safe, but it requires careful monitoring for allergy, kidney function, and adverse reaction. Safety first, always. Thank you.